Super Bowl 56 is less than 48 hours away, and in honor of that, I sat down and had an exclusive interview with LA Rams outside linebacker Chris Garrett.
It's unbelievable when you think about it, because just sitting out a year, the experience and all that comes with not playing, that was tough. And then even coming and making the team after sitting out a year, that was a blessing, honestly. And the team saw what I could do in the preseason, and then to continue to grow throughout the season and now be in the Super Bowl is really indescribable. I didn't realize playoffs was a different level. The level of intensity, the speed from the team, everything is just crazy. Just watching these guys and the way they prep and the dedication that they have, and the level of competition. Even as the level of competition goes up, the focus gets even more. It's really been unbelievable watching these leaders like Von. I know Von's in my room, and just watching him every day. He's been just teaching a lot of us, how his mind thinks, and then, AD and Jalen Ramsey, and now we got Weddle. Just unbelievable leaders that I'm just watching. It's just like, is this real? This many Hall of Famers on one? I don't know. It's pretty unbelievable. If we just play within ourselves, doing what we're capable of doing, if our stars be our stars and our role players, be our role players, we're going to win this game. And we all know that. We don't have to do anything special. We just got to stay within ourselves, stay in the moment. And a lot of guys been in this position before that are playing. So I just think we be ourselves, and we don't have to do anything extra.
Dope interview, Matt. Good luck to Chris and the LA Rams this weekend. Matt, I have a very simple question for you to cap this 2021 NFL football season. Who do you like in the Super Bowl and why?
I like the Cincinnati Bengals because they are the hot team. They are playing with house money at this point.
Yeah.
They're young. They believe in themselves. And I think the biggest thing is the fact that they are playing with house money. I mean, we talked about the pressures that are on this LA Rams team. And so far they've been able to pull out these wins in sometimes very, last-minute situations. Obviously, against Tampa Bay, it was the Cooper Kupp deep bomb that set up the game-winning field goal. Yeah. Against San Francisco, it was very similar. And I think the fact that they're playing like that, and the fact that McVay doesn't have a great track record of coaching well in high-pressure situations, I think the fact that they're going to allow Cincinnati to make a comeback or to, win this game at the end. Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor have shown they can do that. They already did it against a team that I think both of us kind of think is almost better than the Rams in, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs at home, at Arrowhead. Joe Burrow isn't afraid.
No.
And he has the rest of the team not afraid. Now, there's some issues on the offensive line, and obviously the wide receivers are a deep threat for the LA Rams, but I think the Bengals continue this hot streak, and they continue to play with the momentum, and that's going to show up in LA this Sunday.
Can't nobody say you ain't been keeping it consistent. You and I have been high on the Bengals all season. I have been pretty low on the Rams all season, but I got to keep it real at this point. The part of the reason I didn't think that the Rams would get to this point is I didn't think they had enough juice aside from Cooper Kupp. That was before the addition of Odell Beckham Jr.
It's a big change.
That was before the addition of Von Miller. And both of these guys I can see winning Super Bowl MVP. I like both of those guys as dark horse MVP picks. Obviously, OBJ is super important. I think he's actually the most important player at this point in the season to the Rams offense. He is their red zone threat. He is their answer on third down when defenses lock in on Cooper Kupp when they have to. And obviously, the addition of Von Miller completely changed the trajectory of this defense. Obviously, it was talented. It was top heavy with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. But to me, it lacked depth. That's something I talked about even before the season with this defense. But Von Miller adds a third down presence that is tough to beat, and especially when you're the LA Rams, who have an explosive offense, when you have a coach in Sean McVay who can script out the opening sequence and plays. This Rams offense typically starts quick, starts fast. So if you can jump out to a lead, and this has been their formula as of late, if you jump out to a lead, you allow Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd to tee off on your quarterback, and it basically becomes you trying to play catch up with the most vaunted rush defense coming at you. And obviously Joe Burrow he ain't afraid of nothing, as you mentioned earlier. And he knows he's going to get hit. He took 9 sacks in the divisional round and was able to still win a game. That offensive line, that Bengals offensive line improved the following week in the AFC Championship. But I expect more pressure from Joe Burrow. I expect more pressure than he saw in the AFC Championship game. I don't expect him to fold under that pressure, but there comes a certain point to where it becomes overwhelming. And that's what I see happening in this game. I don't know what to expect from Matthew Stafford playing in his first Super Bowl, but I do expect Sean McVay to have a better showing than he did in his first Super Bowl appearance, where his offense only scored 3 points. He was basically shut out by Bill Belichick in that Patriots defense. So I think there's a lot of guys on this team, Aaron Donald included, who he's back in the Super Bowl. I don't see Aaron Donald getting another chance at a ring and falling short. So Jalen Ramsey as well. He hasn't really been to a Super Bowl, but he's played in a lot of high moments, high leverage moments, playoff moments. I think those guys are ready for that. I like the Rams to get it done this weekend.
You know, I love that defense, and I agree with what you're saying as far as Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, those guys. And I do think that the pass rush that the Rams are going to be able to create is going to be a little bit better than Kansas City. But Kansas City still had that same opportunity to really pin their ears back and go after Joe Burrow, especially at the beginning of that second half. And Cincinnati held strong for the most part. But here's another thing that I know I can expect, and that's that LA is going to give up late game turnovers.
They will make
whether it is Cam Akers against Tampa Bay with those fumbles, or it's Matthew Stafford throwing costly picks. I mean, there should have been basically a game-ending pick that Stafford threw, but San Francisco dropped it. The Bengals have been able to capitalize on turnovers, whether it's against Tennessee and Ryan Tannehill throwing 3 awful ones, or it's even Patrick Mahomes, who really cleaned up his interceptions towards the end of the season, was playing very well with the ball. So Cincinnati's defense may not be as great as either the offense or the LA Rams defense as well, but they are able to get those turnovers. Hendrickson, I think, is going to be such a game changer once again. I mean, if you want to talk dark horse MVP, he might be in that conversation.
Yeah, I can see it.
And so Cincinnati, if they can take advantage of the mistakes that I know the Rams are going to make, that's going to be the difference. And the more times you can get Joe Burrow the ball, the more likely it is that Cincinnati is hoisting that Lombardi trophy.
No doubt about it. I want to be clear. There's not a ton of confidence in me picking the LA Rams. Again, I've been very consistent. Go back to our LA Rams takes for most of the year. I did not think they would get to this point. But now that they're here, it's hard for me to ignore what they've been able to put on tape the second half of the season. It's also difficult for me to bet against Joe Burrow, somebody who I named a top 5 quarterback a couple months ago. Jamar Chase, his combination of Joe Burrow, I believe, is a top 5 duo already in the NFL. So, and you mentioned the mistakes that Ryan Tannehill, Patrick Mahomes made against the Cincinnati Bengals defense in the playoffs, but you got to chalk a lot of that up to what the Bengals were able to do defensively. In the front end, getting pressure under the quarterback, and in the back end, turning those mistakes into legit turnovers. So if the Bengals can do that, because I expect Joe Burrow to play well, if the Bengals defensively can create turnovers, this game is going to be interesting. How I see it playing out is the Rams getting out to a fast start, scoring probably on their first drive, going up 14 points maybe early on in that game. Joe Burrow and that offense figuring things out, making things interesting late. And I think it'll come down to a late drive, similar to what we saw in the Rams-Bucks playoff matchup. That's a tie game late. Stafford's got to make a play. Him and Kupp got to make a play. Him and OBJ have to make a play to win that game.
All right. Super Bowl simple question. What do you got for the score?
I like the Rams to win 34-29. How about you?
I think it's going to be Cincinnati, and it's going to be 38-35.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. We can't wait to see how this one plays out. For Scott Procter and Matt Morris, we'll catch you after Super Bowl 56.